At this point, we went into Ars Nouveau, set up a little bit of essence creation, fought some Wildens, got ourselves some spells. Hey and welcome back. Welcome back to the Academy of Witchwood. Great to see you again. Welcome to my, little starter house here. This episode, we do have a little task list. First of all, I want to check off the Technomancy quest for year 1, as well as the summoning quest for year 1, and with that, go into year 2. With year 2, we will get access to the Nether, which I want to do. Want to find some piglins to barter, get myself a scroll forge, which needs crying obsidian, thus the piglin bartering, and then get myself a mining spell, which is spectral hammer. So, first things first, I went ahead in between episodes and got myself a stack of andesite alloy, a stack of copper ingots, and half a stack of zinc, which gives me another 3 points for summoning. And for the summoning itself, we just need to do 5 successful summonings. I mean, you could count that I summoned my Revenant by now 5 times, but we do have a Revenant of Honor, a Polar Bear, a Kitsune Pack, and an Ashigaru squad. And I'm going to, I do have the Kitsunes summoned right now. I don't know where they are, though. Where are my Kitsunes? Have I lost them somewhere? Well, I'm going to desummon them for now, but I need a 5th one. And for the 5th one, I'm just going to get myself the Glyph of Summoned Steed, which just requires 4 leather, which we do have. And then I can summon myself a Spectral Horse, which is very useful before we get any other ways of transportation. And with that, we can summon our Revenant of Honor, a Polar Bear, and my Ashigaru squad. And, like I said, my Kitsunes were summoned just a moment ago. And over here we can just go ahead and get ourselves a summoned steed. Here we have a horse. And yes, with a bunch of summons actually available, I would say we are more than proficient enough to say we mastered the first year of summoning. I say this is checked off. And with that, you can see it, year 1 complete. Over here, we got ourselves the first year's rewards, which for once unlocks the frontier, so we can now go into a higher difficulty for apotheosis, as well as giving us a year 2 research scroll and the information about the research pedestal, which we will need to craft ourselves. And with a little bit of stone, we can get ourselves a research pedestal, which I will just, let's put it up here, over here. And then we can research our year 2, which just takes a little bit of time. And then we get informations like the scroll forge and unlock those. And in the meantime, let's get ourselves our skill points and go a little bit into soul ward capacity, because this will be very nice, as well as some summon damage. And with that, the next tier is unlocked and we can finally get ourselves a scroll forge if we had any crying obsidian. Which I don't. I do have a little bit of obsidian, but not enough for a portal. So let me grab that and probably also grab a flint and steel. And then we just need ourselves some lava. And back from the depth of the earth, we can put our lava buckets into the ground. And I can just build up like this. And create the portal frame here. And now I just need 1 bucket of water. Oh, I can ride that polar bear. That's cool. And I can just create some obsidian like that. With the portal frame in place, let's light it up and step into the nether. Let's see what awaits us here. We are starting in between a warped forest, as I see, and a basalt delta. Well, the basalt delta is not as great, but we sure can grab ourselves a little bit of quartz, which is one thing I definitely wanted. And I can see there's some blazing quartz. That will come in handy sooner or later. For now, I would be very interested in finding some normal piglins. But I am afraid that I will need to go a little bit searching for those. They're awesome. Okay, cool. I just try to not get killed by them. Not already. Back into the nether with some gold, and here we have our friendly piglin friends, which are not that friendly. But maybe we can get them to trade with us. What, 1 piece of obsidian? Really? Come on. Oh, a dried ghast. That's interesting. We can get ourselves a ghast. And there's 1 crying obsidian. You need to give me more of that. Like a lot more. Yes, 4 crying obsidian, finally. This took all the gold I had and everything that I found in the near vicinity. So I'm rather happy that it got to that point. With 4 cobbled deep slate, we get 4 polished deep slate, and with 3 of those and 4 crying obsidian, we get ourselves a scroll forge. Now, the scroll forge is a very important element in Iron Spells and Spellbook, as it allows us to create new scrolls. The idea behind that is that we need some paper, we need some ink, and we have the different tiers here. We have common, uncommon, rare, epic, and there's legendary ink, which we don't have, which is fine. And we can take the different kinds of ink and get different levels of scrolls. What we also need is some reagent of these spells. For example, the Yin Yang cores, Divine Pearls, or something like, I should have a blood bottle. There's bottles of souls. Where did I put my blood bottles? There's some bolted ingots. I think those are... And here's a blood vial. Exactly. So there's very specific things from iron spells itself, but there's also things like emeralds, which we will definitely want to use. If I put in paper and common ink, for example, I can take a look what we get here. For example, common spells of the blood school could be Rip and Tear and Ray of Siphoning, but the rest we can't utilize. If we use uncommon ink instead, we also get Blood Needles, Blood Step, Devour, Raise Death, and Wither Skull. And Blood Step, for example, is quite useful, and I think I might invest my blood vial into that. The higher the ink is, the deeper we can go here. For example, things like Maggot Burst, Blood Slash, Strain, Reaper, or Necrotic Burst and Crimson are available here as well. Seems like in the blood tier there is nothing that you need legendary ink for. And yeah, we can get a look at those also later on, but for now I would like to get myself the Blood Step here, because it's really nice for escaping. Because it gives me a short duration of true invisibility, which can really save your ass. In the Divine Pearl category, we actually have one that requires legendary ink, which gives you a Lytra Flight, which is amazing. But for the moment, there's nothing I will need here. And from the Souls category, we could, for example, get ourselves an epic level Kitsune pack. Or something else, which is really high. And you can see Revenant of Honor is actually something that you, I believe, need epic ink. No? Is it? No, okay, you need at least rare ink to get Revenant of Honor. There's nothing below that. Bolted ingots get you the Blade Master skills, which I actually don't really know yet. I need to take a look at those. But what I definitely need is, from the evocation spells, the Spectral Hammer. Now the question is, how big do I want my hammer? I think I'm going for a rare version of the hammer, which gives me a 3x3x3. Let's take a look. The epic one gives me a 5x5x5. That might actually be worth an epic ink. Yeah, let's go with that. And now, well, I will remove the Ashigaru squad and I think the polar bear for the moment, and add my spectral hammer and my blood step. And now we can go and do some mining. I really need a lot of resources because I want to go into a more Japanese Asian style and combine that with a little bit of steampunk. Because, hey, why not? And for that, I need tons of copper, I need tons of andesite, but I also need things like crimsite. I'm probably more going into the whitish colors, so I'll get myself some pale oak and calcite. And then we will see how my imagination turns out actually in-game. But before that, let's go into a short mining montage. Probably realize why I do like Spectral Hammer. We have some resources gathered in a very short amount of time. And yeah, that's exactly what I will do to get everything together that I need, especially everything that is stone related. But that doesn't mean that we won't get any other means of mining or gathering resources. Especially as soon as we get into tier 2 Ars Nouveau, we will have some pretty nifty things at our disposal. With the new mining spell, with more resources, I think it's time to move slowly but surely all my stuff into the new base. And for that, I think I will need to set up some storage that I can move more easily. Or I could just get myself some packing tape. So I'll see you at the top when I gathered everything that I will move to the new location. And here we are again. So, packing tape is simply done with two slime balls, or with the slime ball and paper. I'm going to make 2 of them because every packing tape only has 8 uses. And then everything I should be needing to do is right click my chests. And I wasn't sure if a double chest takes 2 durability, which it does. So we will need the second packing tape to pack all of these. Now, I can simply break the chest now, and you can see I get an oak copper chest with all the stuff that is in there as one item. And yeah, with that, I can very simply break all the chests that I have and move all the storage at once. And for the rest, I do have 1 gold and 2 iron backpacks, which I can simply fill up with all the stuff that I have in this hut. And with the power of editing, everything is packed. So, now, I said I want to move to a new location. The question is, where? I want to move into these mountains over there. What you can't see from here is that those mountains are actually a ring of mountains surrounding a valley, and I think it has a little bit of the feeling of a volcano crater. So as I want to, well, theme my area a little bit around the element of fire and the aspects of spirits, I think setting up in a volcano crater, or at least imagining that there was a volcano that is now cooled down a little bit, is a very nice idea. Let me actually climb up there and I'll show you what I mean. I hope you don't mind the rendering issues in black all over the place, but if I turn off Voxy, you won't even be able to see the ground here. So this is the area I want to use. Of course, I'm also going to use the hills in all directions, maybe for some rice fields or similars. But I think this crater is really, really nice. And to keep to the theme of, well, like I said, building in a Japanese steampunk style, I would like to use some elements from Domum Ornamentum, which is the mod that is used quite heavily in the mod Mine Colonies. And this is also where I got a bit of inspiration, so don't you worry, I'm not going to make this too complicated, I hope. But I do need some resources, like mangrove, like a lot of paper, and I think, as we're all out of time for today's episode, let's take a look at more resource collection next time so that we can set up the first hut of this new base. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode as we got into more spells, as we went into the nether. I cried a little bit collecting this crying obsidian. But overall, I think we are very much ready to, well, settle down. All right. I hope you have a wonderful evening, a wonderful afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.